Good morning and welcome to Love Every Moment, coming to you today from Fredericksburg, Texas. Today's verse is 1 Peter 5:9. But resist him, firm in your faith, knowing that the same experiences of suffering are being accomplished by your brethren who are in the world. Well, this comes after last week's verse, and I have the link up here, that talked about look out for the devil. He's prowling around like a roaring lion. Now, it says resist him. There are Christians that get obsessed with the devil, and they make the devil the priority rather than God. And you'll see Christians who start off praising God. Oh God, you are wonderful, you are mighty, you are worthy of my praise. And then they stop praising God to address the devil. And Satan, I want to tell you this, I don't like you, you have no business here, I cast you out, and poopy on you. And why would we interrupt praise to God to address the devil? Even if it is negative attention, we're taking attention off of Jesus Christ. I, for one, would rather have my focus on him and not on the devil. Secondly, there are Christians who constantly are saying, Satan, I bind you. And they say it multiple times every day. And it seems ridiculous because think about this. If a Christian could really bind Satan, why couldn't a Christian say, Satan, I bind you once and for all. You are bound forever. And then we wouldn't have to worry about him, or at least for 10 years or something, right? So those binds must be really ineffective, right? If you have to constantly say it. How long does your bind last? Seconds, if at all? Let's give up that ridiculous stuff. Really, it's the Lord that's going to bind Satan for 1,000 years, as we discover in the book of Revelation. And we don't have to worry about binding Satan. We have to resist him. What does that mean? Well, think about the context here. Peter has been talking about humbling ourselves to submission, even to the point of suffering. But the devil will whisper in our ear, you don't have to suffer. You can follow my plan and everything's going to be good. Your flesh is going to love it. And try to get us off track, because that's what Satan really wants us to do. He doesn't even need us to follow him, just as long as we're not following God. If we're focused on our flesh, that's good enough for Satan. In fact, he's okay with us cursing him because our curses can't really hurt him, not our human curses. So don't even bother with that. Let me give one other word picture for you. Let's say that we Christians are a bunch of ants, okay? And Satan is a big old ant eater. And ants here have no natural defense against an anteater. No defense whatsoever. But the good news is these ants happen to have a friend, and that friend's a giant lion who's way up here and could easily overpower this anteater. So what do these little ants do? Well, they get cocky and full of themselves, and they put up their dukes, right? And they start to come closer to the devil, closer to the anteater, to fight the anteater. But think about this. The closer they come to the anteater, the further they're distancing themselves from the lion. The best thing those ants can do is retreat into the bosom of the lion. That's their safest place, and that's where the anteater can't get to them. Okay? Now the rest of this verse talks about knowing that the same experiences of suffering are being accomplished by your brethren in the world. Yes, the rest of the world suffers as Christians, probably a lot more than we Americans do. Yeah, we might have some minor things. Oh gosh, I have to pay more taxes. But there's others that are being placed in jail and tortured and everything else. Might I suggest we read up on what's going on in the church around the world, maybe sponsor a child in a third world nation, or sponsor a missionary in a third world nation, and really get involved so we could see what suffering really is and compare it to our lives, and we're going to see we've got it pretty easy out here in America. So let's choose to love every moment, because then we're going to love every moment. I'm your average Rutch, and I hope you have a great week.